I guess they produce outstanding AIOs as well as they produce their RAMs and SSDs. This right here is the TEAMGROUP T-Force GA360 addressable RGB AIO that, I mean, looks quite nice. I do have to admit, it really does look quite nice, especially with the completely different design on the pump block top and quite long cables. I do have to take that one out of everything that's happened while building and placing this inside the chassis, and just it was the addressable RGB cables were so long, it's just a bit too much. But regardless of that, the performance on this one was somewhat surprising because I expected it to be, I would say, average. I did expect it to be average, to be honest. And this is something that usually, when you have a company that is more dedicated into some other segment of PC build and community and stuff like that, right? And then you get their AIOs. And don't get me wrong, we already had 2 or 3 AIOs prior to this one, and they performed really good. I do have to admit. Honestly, don't even know why I took it for granted. I have to admit that. Now, the GA360 addressable RGB comes with 3 addressable RGB fans, and they don't have a specific name because you can't buy them separately, or at least as far as I know. The dimensions are regular 120 x 120 x 25. We have 4-pin PWM connection for the RPMs, and then we have the speeds running from 600 to 2200 RPMs plus minus 300. Noise level is at 27.8 decibels, and I don't know what kind of average is this because the maximum is 39.5 decibels. And to be honest, that's by 6 or 7 decibels higher than what we usually have on the channel. Airflow 70.07 CFM, minimum is 60.2 CFM, that's most likely at 600 RPMs. Air pressure is 3.88 millimeters H2O, while the minimum is 289 millimeters H2O. Tube length 400 millimeters, and they are quite nicely designed. I do have to admit, with their nice sleeved tubing, it really looks clean. No problems with that. And then we go with the pump. So we have the Aztec 7th generation pump, V2 actually, which in my opinion is much quieter and much nicer than the Gen 8. So yeah, that kind of shines a bit of a light. So that's something different. The speed is 2800 plus minus 10% RPMs. Noise is 20 decibels, and I do have to admit it's really quiet. Radiator dimensions are 394 x 120 x 27 with aluminum design, and when we take into consideration the whole thickness fans plus the radiator, we're talking about 52 millimeters altogether. CPU water block dimensions are 64 x 64 x 38. Compatibility is Intel LGA 115X, 1200, 1700, which is already pre-mounted, and then we go with AMD, of course, AM4 and AM5. We have copper block plate, and the block is aluminium. And then we have one cable which connects on the left side of the block top, and that is addressable RGB header basically. So you connect with micro USB, and then you have to hide that cable because it's on the left side, because it has an L-shaped connection, and you have to reroute it somewhere. So what I did in my scenario with the X870E carbon Wi-Fi, I actually removed both passive heatsink for the M.2 SSDs, rerouted the cable through those, place the heatsinks back, and nothing will happen. It's just cleaner that way. Then what we have additionally is a 3-way splitter for the PWM connection for the fans, which is quite handy, of course. Then finally we have the addressable RGB splitter. And the interesting thing is, even though they have such long cables, they're also daisy chainable. So, in my opinion, the only negative thing, or so to say, is the length of the addressable RGB cables for the fans. Because what could they've done? They could have just simply go with shorter cables. I mean, I would just say shorter enough to daisy chain them properly right on the radiator when it's connected to the radiator, and then just have one cable going out. You do a 2-way splitter, and that will be much tidier, let's put it this way, right? But all in all, that's the only negative thing, because it's quite straightforward to mounting it on AM5. It's quite straightforward to mount the fans and everything all together. So there's no philosophy behind that. As you can see, it really does look nice. And I'm showing you in the B-rolls orange, I'm showing you green, and I'm showing you addressable RGB because this pump block top really needs to be lit up with sun color. And to be honest, it really does look quite appealing in a single color scheme, or just if you go with RGB spectrum, it's all up to you. I won't go into that segment. But regardless of that, the pump looks quite nice because it looks like it has some sort of a starish design to the middle part and then quite nice metallic T-Force logo on top of it. Really clean visual, and I'm really digging it. So when we take that everything into consideration regarding that, I think it's time to check out how it is easy to mount it on AM5. So you have to again remove the original screws and retention brackets from the motherboard. After that, you have to place plastic washers for the standoffs that you have to place inside the original position of the original retention brackets. After that, you're done, because the next thing that you have to do is remove the plastic cover from the pump block top, which protects it from being shipped with already pre-applied thermal paste. Later then you have to remove the Intel bracket and place the AMD bracket. Of course, you have to be careful to align it properly, and you can place the pump block top on the CPU, use 4 thumb screws to basically tie up GA360 SIREN to the processor, and you're good to go. Well, basically you have to connect all the cables, right? But just the mounting mechanism is really straightforward, at least for this one. I mean, for Intel it's not that different, because you're placing the backplate and you're doing the almost the same procedure as on AM5. So there's not much fuss about it. It's really easy. I think it's time to explain why did I start this video with the sentence, they apparently do an outstanding AAO. So I'm gonna go with AIDA 64 Extreme Edition as per usual, and we're having here AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D, and as I stated in a couple of videos back, I'm going to use this processor more and more until something new pops up. And the thing is, we're having an outstanding scores, well, outstanding thermals in AIDA 64, because when you compare this AAO to others, we get 69 degrees. And this was ran for 30 minutes straight. I didn't even touch anything. I just wanted to see if it will rise up. It was really solid for 10 minutes at 67, 68 for another 10, 15 minutes, and then finally it went to 69. So I don't think after an hour or two it will build up any higher than this if we're going with the same benchmark. Clock speed 4707 megahertz, and in this scenario GPU was at 67, so this is the closest I ever got with AMD and this type of GPU, right? And then we go with Cinebench R23. Now this is the most stable benchmark run in Cinebench R23 that I ever got. The only thing that it could be more stable is if I had consistent thermals, like literally the same thermals in each 10 runs. So it starts at 83 for the first 4 runs, then it drops down for 3 runs at 82, and it finishes up the last 3 with 83. This is interesting. Clock speed was 50/129 throughout whole 10 benchmarks, and this is on average. It went to 50/30, it went to 50/28, 27 eventually, but the majority of each run was 50/29, and that shows into the Cinebench scores. It starts at 21,750, continues in that same segment at 700s, jumps up to 800s, goes a bit down again, and then I would say some nice average is quite close to 21,800, 21,790. Let's put it this way. But for 9800X3D, as you've seen in the past reviews, and as you can see and compared to the benchmarks that I did, it's right there, right on top, right there with everything that I tested so far with this AAO, with this CPU, and that's, believe me, that's really outstanding. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have the option to rotate the cover of the block or just adjust it according to the position. You literally have to have this direction of the tubes, this position, and everything as you see here, just to get proper alignment of the block top. And that's it. I mean, you could place it on front without a doubt, but then you'll have most likely some sort of a swirl around, so you could actually have the pump block top staying at this position. In general, the visual aspect when we're talking about the pump block top is outstanding. Loving the design, it's really quite nice. And the fans also have a nice logo of T-Force right here on front. There's a lettering logo of T-Force on the radiator just on one side, so you actually know which side goes and in which position. And altogether, a quite nice surprise. I do have to admit. As the stated mounting mechanism and all things in general, when we're talking about mounting it, it's really straightforward. The only downside that I found is the cable management. Well, basically not the cable management, actually. The length of the addressable RGB cables. That's the only downside that I have to point out. And it's not that drastical. It's not that drastic. You just have to find the room to place those cables. That's all there is to it. Zip ties, Velcro ties, hide it under power supply shroud if you can, if there's, believe me, there is enough length to those. And yeah, I mean, that's it. Now, since I got such a stable run through all 10 benchmarks, I'm gonna give it a PC Crazy approved badge because, first of all, as I stated, this is the first time I'm actually receiving this type of benchmark scores that having such consistency. Well, not in thermals because I had in thermals that was totally consistent in every 10 benchmarks, but the clock speed is really difficult to actually achieve having it almost the same in every single run. Consistency, and it has consistency right here. The noise is a bit louder, as you heard when we're talking about the fan speeds, because if you crank it up to 100%, so try to find, if you go with, and I do recommend it, if you go with GA360 Siren, try to find that perfect balance between the thermals and the noise level of the fans, because the pump is dead silent, that's for sure. And I'm really satisfied with this pump and this combination of everything. So yeah, that'll be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. The link is in the description for the Team Group T-Force GA360 addressable RGB Siren AIO. And what else? I mean, if you like the video, you can always subscribe and join the so-called community here on YouTube. And yeah, that'll be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.